Okay. So we're good. I hope. Okay. All right. So let's see. N for next. That didn't do it.
You forgot to select the window.
Sure helps if I do that, doesn't it? No, is it not letting me do it?
Wrong window. Go all the way to the bottom. Like bottom of the screen and hover over. Now it should work.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to be looking specifically at production and productivity and look at the relationship there. Let me get these little guys out of the way here. How do I do him?
Can you just click and drag it?
I think I can. Yeah.
Oh, there's a minimize. Right. Okay.
All right. There we go. All right. So we'll look at quality issues and how they relate to productivity, and then a special type of management called operations management. Then we'll tie all that into the control function, the last of our management functions, and how that all ties in with continual improvement, how we use this information to keep on getting our things better and better and better. Okay, so a few definitional terms here. Production is just transforming your resources into products. So producing all different types of goods. Most of us tend to think of manufacturing when we think of production. Organizational resources are any assets that your company has that's available to generate profits. Transforming just means the steps that are necessary to turn those resources into products. And of course, the products are your goods or services aimed at meeting whatever needs you're trying to satisfy for your consumers. So honestly, I have never seen a definition where every word in the definition was defined. And that's exactly what that's doing there.
Yeah, sure.
The definition is transformation of organizational resources into products, and then they go about defining organizational resources, transformation, and products. So if you can't get that one, I don't know what else you can do because they've got given it all to you there. Interesting. Okay, so production, of course, when you're making goods and services, productivity is a key factor. You're going to want to make sure that your resources, and that includes your human labor that's being used, are being used to the most efficient method possible. So productivity is a relationship between the output and the inputs. The output being the goods that you're producing, and the inputs being all the resources that are being used. So when we talk about those resources, we're talking about not just your machinery that's being used, but also the people that are working on the line, but also your people behind the scenes working on your goods as well. So as a manager, remember you're a manager of these production type facilities. You're going to want to improve your efficiency and your effectiveness with all of your resources. With the workforce, you want to do that through some training. With your machinery, you may be able to use automation to make things higher quality or quicker. You want to look at your product design to see how the assembly takes place, and maybe you can improve there. You can look at your equipment to see if maybe you need to update that so that it's more modern. And also in your hiring processes as a manager, you want to make sure that the people you're hiring are high quality to fill your open positions, and they actually meet the needs of the job that's being done. Now I'm going to stop this and show you the first video to kind of put all this in perspective. And let me get to, I have to get back to my car here. This is how a car is made. And I found it to be quite interesting because I just get behind the steering wheel every day and don't think about what goes into making my car. So let me get him going. And now I got to share the screen, right? Okay. So where did my little share screen go? Can we get him down? Come on, share screen. There we go. Backing up.
It all begins with a blank sheet of paper and some rough sketches. After that, the car takes shape in the form of a clay model. All materials and processes are tested and simulated. Craftsmanship and state-of-the-art technology go hand in hand at every step along the way. The pressing tools are created with the utmost precision. Then it's off to production. In the press shop, the steel is treated at high temperatures to improve the strength characteristics. In the body shop, robots do most of the heavy work. Next up, the paint shop. Traditional series production no longer exists. In the assembly area, each car is tailor-made for each customer. The body checks are carried out by hand, and then the car is ready for the road. Once the design of a model has been finalized, the next step is to build the pressing tools needed for the bodywork. A tool is a mold that weighs several tons and consists of two halves. Robots cut and shape the structures, but the finishing touches are done by hand. The pressing tools are thoroughly tested, then get down to work in the press shop. Giant rods of sheet steel come directly from the steel plant. They provide the basic raw material for the car body. The press is fitted with the molds for one car part. Then the giant machine is set in motion. For safety reasons, no one is allowed near the pressing machines. Each car's millimeter-thin lines require the highest possible precision during the pressing process. The machines quite literally work under tons of pressure. Robot arms transport the steel sheets from one mold to the next. All tools in the pressing cycle work on the same body part, one after the other, to shape the body design in several steps. The finished parts are then de-stacked using ergonomic aids. The press shop is the only place where traditional series production lives on. From this point forward, each car is individually tailored to meet the wishes of the customer. The individual parts now move from the press shop to the body shop. Most of the heavy welding is done by robots due to ergonomic reasons. After that, the next stop is the paint shop. The body shell is immersed in a tank for cleaning and degreasing. At this point, everything is still gray on gray, but this is where color comes into the picture. Filler, base coat, and clear coat. This is the order in which water-soluble paint is applied to the outer skin of the car. Each car is painted separately. If necessary, different colors are applied one after the other. With protective sleeves use a fine spray to ensure the paint is applied efficiently. Then Highly qualified paint specialists take over the final stages of the painting process. Environmentally friendly dry separation system filters the air in the paint shop. Each individual car body is examined carefully before passing to the assembly area. Flawless, high-gloss surfaces. At the paint shop, that's all in a day's work. A core phase of automobile production is assembling the car. This is where everything comes together. All preliminary work, all parts, and all materials are assembled here to form the final vehicle. In this phase, it's all about just in time, and that involves making sure suppliers deliver each part at exactly the right time. In this way, storage fees are reduced, and the efficiency is increased. Nowadays, each car is tailor-made to suit the wishes of individual customers. Things have come a long way since traditional series production. Every car body has an identification tag that links it to a particular customer order. This tag carries all the information about the model features requested by the customer. At each stage, the right part must be in the right place at the right time. That's an impressive logistical achievement. Highly specialized employees are the key to the assembly process. They work with ergonomic aids, such as lifting devices, so-called manipulators, to keep physical strains and stresses to a minimum. After final assembly is complete, the next step is the final inspection of each vehicle. The light tunnel makes it easier to spot any irregularities in the surface of the car. Here again, the human eye is the best gauge. Robots have long since become an integral part of auto manufacturing. They play an especially important role in areas with challenging working conditions. In the body shop and in the paint shop, for example. In the body shop, heavy parts are delivered from the press shop and welded together by robot arms to form the full body of the car. All through the production halls, these arms swivel and turn in a programmed ballet as the robots help employees perform their own tasks. Factory cages protect the humans from their robot colleagues. Nowadays, robot arms are much more than just mechanical aids that do the heavy work. Over the last few years in particular, their potential has steadily increased as technology has progressed. Robots are becoming more precise and safety sensors more sensitive. Humans and machines are already working hand in hand in the first pilot projects. A glimpse of the future within our grasp. The most important tools in automobile manufacturing are the hands of the employees. Irrespective of all the high-tech devices and robots, the success of the production process ultimately still depends on craftsmanship. It begins with the first rough sketches and continues all the way to the final touches on the vehicle. In fact, no matter which type of car is being made, craftsmanship is part of every stage, from the selection of materials to the stitched cockpit features. From building the engine blocks and the assembly of individual elements to the final inspection. Indeed, finesse and craftsmanship are the ultimate quality guarantee. Cars are not only made by machines, they're built by around 600,000 employees of the Volkswagen Group worldwide.
I don't know. I guess what amazed me the most is, yeah, there he goes. What amazed me the most were those robotic arms. They're so huge. Golly, I mean, I really have a better appreciation when people say robots are going to take over the world, that they really are doing an awful lot now. Can you, I mean, step that back to when the first cars were made, and all the managers really had to control were the people on that conveyor belt, I guess, as you say, just putting pieces together. And now, I'm not so sure I'd want to walk up to a piece of that robotic arm. He's not doing a good job. So it's kind of scary, actually.
My nephew works for DuPont, and he'll program the robot to go get his tools and stuff that he needs. The robot will go get whatever he needs to bring it back to him.
Oh my! I'm just life has changed. That's for all I can say. Has anybody worked in a manufacturing plant like this where they were using robotics and stuff?
Before. It's really cool to watch.
You've seen it?
It's mesmerizing almost. Like, they get so good. Like, this is a really cool. There was a professor of a music college, and he programmed several robots to play instruments for this music video. And then through further work, he found a glitch and was like, "This would be a really cool music video." I'll show you the video.
Oh, wonderful!
It's like the video it's beyond insane what robots can do.
I think that they do attempt in this video to let me switch the camera, I guess, over to me.
Or go back to the window.
Wait a minute.
Go to the Zoom window.
This one?
No. Right, bottom left hand corner of that window. Up. Nope. That's the video.
Why is he still here? Get rid of him.
You can minimize that. Do it.
All right.
Go back to Zoom. Yeah. All right. Now in the window, there's the video camera. Up. And then switch.
There we go. Here I am, guys. Here I am. Okay. All right. So, what amazes me, I guess in here they did do an attempt to show that even with the robots doing all that work, that it still takes some hands-on work. And did you hear them say that nothing's better than the human hand to define any kind of quality issues or anything like that? And then they also showed humans doing part of the work, like the sewing, the threading on the steering wheel cover, that kind of stuff, you know. So we're seeing a blend of both machinery and people in the production process. But you as a manager, you're going to have to expand your thinking because you're going to be controlling both, okay? Not just humans. We kind of think about management as how to manage your human workers, but you're also going to be responsible for managing those robots as well, which means you've got to have constant watch to make sure that they're performing as they were intended to. Not that they're coming alive or anything, although I did see something on Facebook the other day. Now, whether it was true or not, I don't know, but there was like something went to court to try to declare a robot as a entity that could be sued.
Oh, gosh.
So weird.
If they can find a way to make money, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. So, you know, and of course, these robots are machines, and like any machine, they can malfunction or break down, or yeah, it could actually have something wrong with its programming. So remember, as a manager, you've got to be aware of all of these issues. But I can't help but think about the movie I, Robot. I'm sure some of y'all have seen that. I mean, that just pops into my head right away because robots have really, you become empathetic with them as you go along. You start to feel that they do have feelings, you know? When they turn that one robot off, you kind of want to cry a little bit. So, crossovers, I don't know. But for right now, as managers, you're going to have a blend of management control over both equipment and people. Maybe it's becoming more and more equipment, but I don't know. I mean, we're here in the United States, we've turned so much into a service type business orientation where manufacturing is not the biggest part of our nation anymore. It's more service-oriented jobs like banking and food and stuff like that. So you all may not see that blend that some of the others are seeing. All right. Let me go back to the PowerPoints. Let's see if I can get the right one up here. How am I doing?
One right there.
Very bottom left window. On the share screen window.
Oh, right.
Wrong share screen.
All right, stop share.
You just click share screen and selected the first window.
Okay, I want to,
Go to share screen.
did I do share screen?
Not yet.
Where
You
did it
cancel
go?
it.
Oh, there you go. Share screen.
Okay.
I want to go back to the sky. All right. Oh, he's not there.
On this window, even though it's on this window over here.
Oh,
You can
okay.
still see it. It's just the big one that
All right.
it's sourcing from, isn't it? So
Okay. But I don't have it over here either. Interesting. Oh, maybe I need
It's
this one
minimized.
over here.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
over here, select the PowerPoint.
All right.
Next and previous.
Except the next is not working.
Select the window.
You just have to keep me under control all the time.
Go to the bottom. Select that. Wrong window. That one. All right, now it will work.
What am I going to do when you're not in my class? I don't know. Okay, so quality is a big, big issue with control when we go think about management control and productivity. We want to know how well our product is actually doing what it's supposed to do, how closely it satisfies the specifications to which it was built, and degree of excellence on which the products or services can be ranked on selected features and characteristics. So think about those cars. Anybody ever gotten a lemon? I've heard of people who've gotten lemons. Y'all know what lemons are? I'm not talking about the fruit.
About when you get a car and they don't tell you what's wrong with it until you drive it.
It breaks, and then it breaks again, and then it breaks again.
You keep taking it back, and it's like, you know, never gets fixed, right? Okay, in fact, there are lemon laws out there that
Virginia and California are the two strictest for lemon laws.
that will sort of protect the consumer if you actually end up purchasing a vehicle that turns out to be a lemon. So needless to say, quality can be an issue in the car production type of business there. We can have vehicles that evidently should not have passed a quality inspection, but they did anyway and actually made it to the showroom. Now, has anybody ever ordered a brand new car to your specifications? It's, well, probably the most expensive way to buy a vehicle, but in my stupid days in the past, I have been known to do things like that. And I always, when I got that vehicle, I went through my little checklist. Did I get exactly what I asked for? Exactly. My father got a car that way one time, and weirdest thing in the world, the interior on one side of the car was a different color than the other side of the car. Somebody had done a botched job with the, whatever it wasn't paint, whatever the interior colors were made out of. I always wondered, was there a robot doing that, and the robot had the wrong stuff in it, you know, or whether that was a person that installed that stuff wrong.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it's been a good 20 years ago, so it wasn't a robot. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, it's quality is a big issue in every business, every productivity business, not just in the car manufacturing business. We have some quality control issues now with eggs. Have y'all heard about eggs?
Oh, yeah.
Salmonella showing up. I know Walmart pulled all of their eggs.
Oh, no.
this past weekend, and I'm not selling any anymore. So,
Not selling them except from.
I coming into work this morning, I was like, oh, I really would like to stop and get myself a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. And then I said, I don't know about that egg on there, so I didn't get anything. But, that's agricultural business that's having quality issues. Now, it wasn't that they were using the wrong chickens or whatever, but apparently they're processing. Something happened to spread that disease there. So it can happen in any kind of industry that we built. Has anybody ever gotten anything at all that you felt like was of bad quality after you purchased it?
Yeah. Oh, Miss.
She's doing a class right now, but she didn't give me an assignment.
Are you there?
In 3 weeks. So all I gotta do is show up.
From she.
And my other classes did me like
Big old
30 to 50 questions.
Wait a minute,
I had to do another an hour.
I'm hearing somebody in Estes talking and somebody in Daniel talking at the same
People using
time.
notes and books and stuff like that. 50
Sorry.
questions.
I'm Daniel. Okay. Who's talking to me from Estes?
Halifax.
Oh, you're in Halifax. Wow, that's not even showing up. Okay. Tell me what you were saying once again. You ordered something from Sheetz.
Yeah, I ordered a sub and it was like a whole glob of mayonnaise on it, and I couldn't eat the sub because like my hands were full of mayonnaise. It was horrible.
Oh, so what kind of quality control did you take it back to them? Did you get your money back?
At first, I took, let me tell you this, I got a burger instead of my sub the first time, so I had to go back and give them the receipt to get my sub, and then I just went down the road, we was almost home, and I was trying to eat my sub, and it was like, wow, some mayonnaise.
Well, sounds like that, since you're in Halifax, I guess I know where you were. Sounds like maybe they got some issues. Maybe management needs to be watching over the shoulder of these workers a little bit more, or maybe the workers need to be trained better, or all kinds of things could happen. It could be that their mayonnaise machine was malfunctioning, or at Sheetz you order off of a computer. It could be that the computer was processing things incorrectly. So you as a manager, if you got enough complaints, you would definitely have to visit that and see what kind of change needs to take place, and it could be even as much as firing the person who doesn't get it right time and time and time again.
I got some stories.
So, I'm trying to think. The last time, seems to me, mine was also in the food. There was something that I didn't. Oh, yesterday, simple order of a burger with no tomato, and when I got it, opened it up, and there was that tomato.
Probably. Because those are also typed up.
Yep,
So,
it could be technology issues. That's right.
I
So,
think my favorite one, phone issue. When we first ordered our phones, we were supposed to get something from, was it Apple? Sent us the entire wrong phone. Like, we were supposed to get one model, and they gave us 2 years free.
oh my
We're like,
gosh.
No, we gave it back, and they gave us our money back. And that was when we found something cheaper. So we're like, okay.
Speaking of that type of thing, I had a problem with Comcast. I lost the remote to my TV. It wasn't to the TV, it was the remote to the cable box. So it was a Comcast or Xfinity remote, whatever. So I called to have them send me another one. I was going to pay for it or whatever. It took us a month and a half for them to finally get the right remote sent to me. Meanwhile, my TV was stuck on the same station. I couldn't change it because it wasn't anything you could manually change on the cable box. So I ended up watching on TV 24 hours a day for a month and a half. I saw,
It's okay.
what's that, the bounty hunter guy and the ones that, what's it called, where they go into the storage wars.
Storage wars.
Yeah, I mean, things that I would never watch in my life because
you
that was
learn
the only
stuff
thing
on
that
that.
came on the TV. So about the only thing good that came on that channel was Criminal Minds. But now I can pretty much word for word tell you everything about every Criminal Minds episode there is now. But that, you know, part of the problem there is just simple communications difficulties with, you know, I tried to explain what it was that I needed and they got it wrong. And I tried to explain again and they got it wrong again. And, you know, maybe these folks do need training a little bit better. Yet I have never had a problem when a Comcast person actually came to my house. Their technicians are wonderful, but I've had difficulties with their phone people. One thing I did before then, I had, I wanted to go, we had a Comcast office in South Boston, okay? They shut it down. Well, I called one day and I said, I want to know what hours the office is open, and they told me. And I said, and I want to know, are they open on Saturday? Oh yes, they're open on Saturday. So that's when I went on Saturday, got up early, went on Saturday, drove up to the place and found the sign on the door where they had actually closed the whole place down. So, you know, the
Might
people.
have been sudden then.
No, it wasn't sudden. Anyway, that's bad. That's bad customer service, and it's coming from poor quality control in a number of areas. Sometimes it's the worker's fault, but sometimes it's because the worker hasn't been trained properly either. Or it could be technology's fault. Of course, there's always a human behind technology. Okay, my next.
Window deselect. Yeah, the window deselect. I can tell you one place that I had issues, and this was an employee issue. My mom was working for a company called Modal. They're a transcription company, but for some reason, like if you ever tried to bypass the manager to report on them, it gets sent right back to that manager. So any complaints go right back. Their management was horrendous. Like my mom could barely keep full time. They were paying her under minimum wage how many hours she was getting.
Oh gosh.
So it was, she finally got out of that job like a couple months ago, but it was horrendous. Like stress levels were over the roof because she couldn't get enough hours in a night. She was trying to make up time over her days off.
Yeah.
Like the management was horrible.
Wow.
Word of advice, never work for Modal.
Okay, y'all heard that, and I didn't say it.
Don't work for Modal. People who are transcriptionists do not work for Modal. They're horrible.
It sounds like a diarrhea medicine to me, Imodium. No, which I'll say there. Okay. So all of this dealing with quality is really set up for us so that the feedback we get will help us to continually improve. It's sort of like what I was saying last week. Don't look at control as being a slap on the hand or somebody punishing somebody else for doing something wrong. It should be just what the word says, a control that helps us get to more efficiency, more effectiveness, correct any difficulties that we have. So looking at the continual improvement, not just the end result. Do you want all of the phases of the production process to be reviewed? That car from the very time that the pencil took to that piece of paper to draw that car up, there should be some type of control going on there as well. So, all through the robotic part, the human part, even the customer, they didn't show the car being sold to the customer, but how many of us have ever felt abused when you went to a car lot? Maybe you guys haven't, but gals have a special heart. I mean, I would rather buy a house than a car because I always feel like I'm being taken when I'm buying a car.
That's a
So,
horror story for another time.
oh, good. Well,
That's a
oh
horror story
Lord.
for another time.
Okay.
Our family was in one.
Oh Lord.
So bad.
Okay.
When I've got that car, my brother be with me, he should just let me do all the talking. You find out how much mileage the car and stuff like that, and he said that's a factor when you want to buy a car. It's a nice car, but it's got high mileage. You gotta buy a nice car that's got low mileage, and then
Well, you know what is so wonderful? I haven't bought a car since this happened because I'm driving old. But my daughter bought a brand new truck not long ago. And one of the good things that's available now is with your smartphones, as they're dickering with you, you can pull up Blue Book values, you can pull up internet, find a comparable car somewhere else with a lower price tag on it and do some more bargaining. You've got the power in your hands now, power with tools that we all never had when I bought a vehicle. So, but I mean, I just don't like to even thoughts of buying one.
Those places, they say, like online, they have catalogs that say, we have this car for this price. You go there and it's like, oh, it's not here. We're charging you extra to get it here. And
That's an old
we're like, no.
bait and switch tactic where they, catch
Really
the
bad
bait
when-
and catch you and reel you in, and then all of a sudden they don't have what they're supposed to.
It's only really bad when vehicle you are driving dies on you in the parking lot.
Oh no!
That's what happened.
Oh no! Oh my
So
gosh!
It was like we were so bad.
Oh Lord! So try to remember. Yes, we do want to catch all those bad things that are going on, but we want to do it as managers to improve the process, not to punish. I mean, if punishment takes place, that if it's necessary, that's okay. But your main focus should be on what can you do as a manager to improve the manufacturing and productivity of your goods. Okay, of course we can't go a chapter without having some flow charts in this book. They just love them so much. So this is W. Edwards Deming Quality Flow, a flow diagram for improving product quality. I guess the main thing to note about this little diagram is that it's continuous. It's a continual flow. It doesn't stop anywhere. So from department to department, from suppliers to production to distribution to consumers, it all flows back into each other as a continual process. It doesn't stop. That flow chart doesn't stop anywhere. So every, like testing the materials and the processes, and that flows into the assembly and the production, and then the distribution, and then the consumer, and then you can actually get involved in researching your consumers to see what they liked and didn't like about your product, and then back into design and redesign so that you have the proper equipment the next go around. So a continual process there. Okay, so a little bit about some integrated operations. Again, this is just things that have happened in events of quality control. We've had quality assurance, statistical quality control, a no rejects philosophy, which in some companies they might actually say, we want to produce everything where nothing is rejected, and that's almost the quality circles, automation, strategies, systems, and processes. So I think we're going to listen to any stories you all might have about quality problems you've had in the past, including your food products and your mayonnaise. I'm not going to eat mayonnaise for a while now after that story. Yeah. But anything else y'all want to share with us, and then we'll pick up there on Thursday. And again, next week will be the test. So we will finish up this last chapter on Thursday. I'll be coming to you from South Austin.
You did 32.
Okay.
I hate no return policies.
No return policies.
Oh, I
Okay.
hate.
Oh, yeah.
I know Sam's Club does it. I love Sam's Club for the record, but they have a no return policy. And so when something goes bad, and like you buy something and the expiration date is back. But usually Sam's Club has done a pretty good job of keeping of like that
Off the
secure,
shelves and stuff.
but there are those like couple that survive, and I can respect that.
Yeah,
But
the no return policies, I just think if a company has them, they need to be clearly stated and obvious to everybody. However, there are people who abuse them. I worked at Belk for a while, and we knew people who purchased items, took them home, wore them, left the tags on them, and then brought them back. You could see the deodorant stains and all kinds of things on them. So consumers can abuse this policy. And that's what has made it so that businesses have to be so strict about things. But certainly if it's a quality issue, you got home with a dress and the seam was ripped or something, they should be able to bring it back, right? So, it technically as a manager, you should have caught that beforehand. Doesn't mean you have to actually get rid of the inventory, but you surely have to discount it or send it back to the manufacturer or whatever.
Make sure it's the right.
Any other quality items y'all have come up with? Any kind of examples?
You can't make sure it's put too much.
Well, if you are young enough to have not experienced quality issues, you will in your future. I can assure you.
Yeah.
I can assure you. So just be on the lookout. And it can come in any business you deal with. Any business. I hope it's not your car, and I hope you don't get a lemon, because that's not a fun thing to deal with, from what I understand. Okay.
it's really cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording then. We will finish up this chapter on Thursday. Meanwhile, why don't y'all think about, or just if anything happens between today and Thursday that is a quality control issue, let me know. I think it'll be fun. Okay. I'm going to stop the share and stop the recording.